welcome everybody back for another episode of the 120 podcast. This is our holiday podcast, and I have two special little guests here with me today. My daughters, Elise and Alexis. We're going to talk about caretakers. Caretakers don't get much recognition. It's an extraordinarily hard job, especially because the majority of the caretaking for someone who survives septic shock, it falls on the family. And, it's hard to believe here we are as a family 4 years down the road after my septic shock crisis. Some of you may have seen the article that I just wrote for Healthy Women about what that time was like. And they asked me to write an essay about that. And I did. And, it definitely was not the best of times. Holiday seasons are supposed to be happy. Society thinks we're all supposed to be happy. Sometimes we're not. And that's okay. And especially if you have a family member that, you're trying to take care of and trying to take care of yourself too. So anyway, I want to welcome my daughters, and we're going to go ahead and should probably get started with what happened that day, that morning, right?
Yeah, probably. Just want to also say, funny you said little. Um, you're the smallest of three. I just
That's
wanted to
crazy.
put that
They're
out
bigger than
here.
me.
Yeah, little is funny. I've been holding on to that since you said it, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was very close to it. Uh, yeah. But yeah,
No,
morning
yeah,
of,
I knew
sure.
you were going to say something. I
Um,
totally get it. I try to wear heels, everyone. I
uh,
try to wear heels, and I try to stand on my tippy
doesn't
toes
work.
when we're taking photographs because I don't know how I ever
Yeah,
gave
she
birth to
cheats.
these two because they're just compared to me, they're they're anyway. So thank you, Lexi, for clarifying that. I should say
Yeah, I
yes,
just
my
wanted to make
my
sure everybody was
big
Make
aware.
sure
baby
we're allowed to
daughter,
set
my
this
very,
record
very
straight.
tall baby daughter. Yep.
Need to get it out there for you.
Oh,
No.
but anyway,
Um, yeah, okay. Morning of, I think when it first happened, me and Dad were the only ones. Dad was the first one awake with you. I think he was up with you as you were dealing with
he was the
this. I remember him
closest because I
getting
I
me
just
up
had to
to put the dog
get
in
him.
my. Yeah, I was, yeah, I mean he was. He woke me up to put the dog in my room because he told me ambulance was coming, and um I wasn't that concerned when that happened because it was just like, well, that was the norm growing up. It was like, mom, ambulance is coming for mom, get the dog in one of the rooms, yada yada yada. She'll be back later today. It'll be fine. Um so, yeah. So he went and tried to put the dog in my room. He did. And then I got out and was looking at you. And you were really beside yourself. And like it felt a little different in the moment, but also like growing up, I had seen you like I'd called for the ambulance when you were just hunched over the toilet, only vomiting up bile at that point. So like it wasn't the worst. Like in my experience, you were crying and you were very like, I have COVID, get away from me. You kept saying that to me. You're like, I have COVID, get away. I have COVID, get away. And I was just like, you don't have COVID. You're fine. You'll
Yeah.
come back later today. It'll be fine. Um, we get ambulance comes, they get you out of the house. Uh, and dad goes, he packs your bag, he gets all of the stuff you're gonna need and everything like that, and he heads out to follow the ambulance there. And then yeah, and then uh, I can't remember if he called or texted me about what was going on. I think he might have called me uh to let me know that they were air lighting you or life lighting you, a helicopter to University of Maryland Medical Center. And I was just like, okay, well, that's the first time that happened. And then I just remember cleaning the entire house. because I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't want to think about what's going
Yeah,
on.
and for the audience who hasn't seen previous Yeah, for the audience who hasn't seen previous episodes, so, I have chronic illness, disabilities. That's why this podcast is all about sepsis, chronic illness, and disabilities. And I've been to the hospital a lot. I have Crohn's disease, POTS, hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, and so my family was used to that. It was kind of run of the mill, so to speak, to get me into the ER. And oh, there's Elise. Elise is back. I thought you dropped
I've
out.
returned.
Did you drop out of the studio for a minute?
I big did. I big did. Yep. I'm back.
But Elise is back. Yay! But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it was a different experience, I think, for all of us on both sides, because I'm in the ER going, I don't think I'm going to get out of this. Because then I was starting to realize how bad it was. And, you know, then you guys were on the other end, not being there, not knowing, except for what Dad was able to tell you on the phone. And was Elise up yet? I mean,
Yeah.
did she know what was going on yet, or?
Not when you went
You-
in. No.
First of all, with Elise,
I've
I
there's
see
a
two of her. There you go. Okay, let's go. Sorry.
what? Okay. Um, when I did wake up, it's I didn't have school or work or anything, so woke up around when I do like 11. Uh, and like who was it? I think Lexi told me, and like what
Yeah,
was
I did.
happening, and so I was just like, and I really like didn't. I was like, oh, okay, that's a new thing for her to go into the hospital for. I don't even really, it's like I've heard that before, but I don't really, is that bad? Let me, so I Googled it. And like the first,
Well,
like the summary thing, um, what was that?
I was just
Lexi?
wondering. It was just like, oh, sorry. I think a lot of things are backed up on my end. uh, just in terms of people talking. Uh,
Okay.
I was just like, so keep
I,
going.
I think the feedback is a little slow, maybe because we're all in the same house recording this. So,
That's true.
Maybe,
So sorry,
maybe.
Lily.
but yeah, because you were saying, Elise, you had Googled it or something.
Yeah, no, it's like, so I was just like, okay, septic shock surgery. Let me, what is even, so I Googled it and it was just like, the first thing that like pops up is like, oh, like, the survivability like 40%. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Let me just close my phone and I forget what I did. I just like it was like I'm just gonna not think
I'm
about
sure
that.
Lexi remembers.
I was just like I'm
I
just
don't
gonna
remember what the hell she was
not
doing.
think about that for the rest of the day. Yeah. Um. Yeah, so that's I did what I like to do, which is just simply not think about it until somebody until somebody tells me any updates or anything. Because I was just like,
I
well,
think you
that's
mainly stayed
not
in your room.
which yeah, yeah. I may have shut my phone
I don't
off and
remember
like
seeing you.
maybe just like rolled back over and yeah, maybe just like rolled back over and maybe even slept some more.
Yeah.
I don't know, but uh yeah. And no, that was really it. It's just the big avoidance strategy that
Mhm.
um uh just like I'm just yeah until this is resolved or there's any updates, I'm just not gonna think about it. I figured it's just like okay, well she's there, this is happening now. Not a single
Yeah.
thing I could do about it right now, so I'm just gonna yeah, I'm just gonna go about my
No
day and
control. Yeah.
yeah. Just gonna go about
I
my day
mean,
and
that
just wait for an update.
Yeah, I mean, and for our audience's sake, so Elise had just graduated. She had just gotten her BS in audio engineering. She's an audio engineer. She's the one who
Bachelor of
tweaks my
Music.
audio on
Thank
my
you very much.
podcasts. and and Alexis was going to go into her junior year in the fall in college. So the kids were home, and my son had just gotten his master's. So he got his master's, I think, like a few days after you got your bachelor's, and it was still the height of COVID. So Joey's graduation took place remotely. He went to Emory, and then Elisa's graduation was in Pittsburgh, and we did travel there. I was feeling sick, like basically that whole spring, and ever since January. And I missed her senior project. I couldn't go to Pittsburgh for that. I missed a gathering. All the parents were having to celebrate the kids the night before graduation up in Pittsburgh. Missed that. But I did manage to get there for her graduation. So she was just like 8 days after graduating college. So, and then this all happens. And then dad comes home, right? Girls, is that it? Like
Yeah. Well,
basically Alexis was cleaning, Elise was, you know,
Shut in.
I was,
yeah,
yeah.
shut in.
Again, I don't think I remember seeing Elise until after I updated her about your surgery, and like how that went, and the fact that you made it out and you were going to be able to see people tomorrow. We couldn't go that day. Uh, yeah, I cleaned like both bathrooms. I did laundry. I think I vacuumed. While I was doing the bathrooms, I think I felt so nauseous, but I was just like, I can't vomit. And then I did because I forced myself to at that point because I was just like, I just can't deal with this right now. So while I was cleaning the bathroom, I vomited into the toilet and then cleaned it up again. So that was a little circle of life moment for that.
It's nice.
Um, yeah. Didn't leave it. And the dad came home, and again, typically I mean, we knew the EMTs back in Monrovia when we lived there for so long, and because of how often you were coming in and out of the hospital. So again, this was like a pretty general thing that happened growing up, and so we were all pretty used to it. I like dad was always just like, well, I'm gonna go meet her up there. I'm gonna get her phone charger and some clothes in case she has to stay, but she'll probably be back tonight and everything like that. And like by probably like when I was in high school, I was just like, oh, okay, there she goes. And then other people around me would cry, and I was just like, she's gonna be back tonight. Why are you crying? Like, this is fine. This is just how it goes. Um,
That's living
but
with
when,
someone with chronic illness. Yeah, a parent
yeah.
especially.
hmm But when dad came home that day, it was very jarring because dad also, our father, is not he doesn't show emotion that much. He's always
He's a
a,
boomer
this is
man from
fine.
Pittsburgh, PA. It's
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
His
it
mood
is
is
what it
always,
is with
Indians are,
him.
yeah. It's like, this is fine. I will deal with it and it's okay. And I never really saw him cry before this happened. He came in white as a sheet, wasn't really talking. Like I couldn't get more than a few words out of him at any point because he was so shocked, I think, about what was going on and seeing you in that kind of state and then seeing the helicopter and everything like that. Like, I think that was like the worst he's ever been in terms of just like, I can't talk to you, you're not speaking to me type of thing. But I think he was just in such a state of shock he couldn't verbalize anything that was going on around him. So we're
yeah,
both sort of just,
they said, the doctor said in my medical report that they had talked with dad about everything, and they asked him if he needed help or did he need help calling people and stuff. And he basically said no. And they were like, patient's husband was fine. And I was
hmm
like, no, he wasn't
no,
fine.
I think he was
He
just
was
shell
just like
shocked.
in shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dad's never one to really ask for help. So yeah, I don't think even if he was, well, he would have taken anyone up on that in this kind of a moment when he doesn't know if his wife is going to live or not. and he had kids at home waiting to hear what was happening. So that was rough. And me and him just sort of existed around each other until we got the call about how your surgery went. Like, we didn't really talk. We just sort of were moving around each other. I think I made dinner to try and get some sustenance in people. And I think he mainly was just sitting on the couch. And I don't exactly remember what he was doing, but again, it was like a ghost you were trying to move around. Like he was there physically, he was not there in any other type of way. Um, and then we got the call about how your surgery went. Uh, I was writing stuff down because Dad was not going to remember in that kind of a state, and I think I just wanted to keep my hands busy doing something. Uh, so we
Did
got
they
a call.
call before surgery too? Did they call
Not that
like to get permission and all that?
I don't know. If they called Dad,
You know what? It was emergency, so they probably didn't.
I don't think so. No, I don't remember Dad getting a call like that.
Okay.
I just remember the
He might
call
have
at
given them,
around
he probably gave permission at the hospital, at the ER.
probably,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
Um,
So then you got the call that I was out.
at about 6 p.m., yes. And again, this happened very early in the
Mhm.
morning. At like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
is when Dad woke me up. So at 6 p.m., we get the
Yeah.
call from the surgeon saying that you made it out. Uh, you had a temporary colostomy bag. You had lost uh, however much of your colon, a third. Um,
A third the
and
first time around. Yeah. The second surgery, they took some more.
yeah, uh, so basically laying out like how everything was going to go, everything like that. And Dad he was trying to be like, could we go up now? He was trying to get up that very day. And they were like, no, visiting hours are
Yeah.
over. Plus, also with COVID restrictions, only one person can go see her at a time. So it was not like all of us could go up
Yeah.
there and see how everything was going. It was like we all had to start visiting one by one by one.
Yeah. And yeah, so it was only one person at a time. Hours were limited. And who called Joey? Did you or did Dad?
I think it was me. I think it was me. I called Joey to let him know what was going on. I think he was sort of shell shocked too. I don't think he really knew what to do in regards to this. Also because like they had just gotten back from Georgia, they were in Middletown, and with the COVID restrictions, it's not
Yeah.
like all of us could pile into a car and go up there anyway. So I think he was more or less just. I mean, for the first couple days, like none of us besides Dad visited you. That was an agreed upon thing, sort of between all of us. It was just like Dad will go up there and uh, see her for the first couple days at the very least. And I don't think anyone was going to stop Dad either from seeing you that next day. So
Yeah. Yeah, he was sort of hell bent on that. So, and then yeah, then he did show up the next morning because after my surgery, I just remember the windows in the rooms being very dark. And then when I did see him finally the next day, it was very bright and very light in my ICU room. Um, and and yeah, so he was allowed to come the first few days. I know that was really exhausting him because I think he might not have been sleeping too well at home, even though for audience purposes here, my husband can sleep through anything, earthquakes and whatnot, and nothing keeps this man awake.
he'd
But
cause
I
an
know
earthquake
he
with
could
his
have been,
snoring.
yeah, he can. And he I could tell he wasn't sleeping when he came to see me because he was like a different person also too, like in the hospital. He was kind of like he was moving in slow motion.
Hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of us were. Again, I don't remember much in the days following of uh visits and everything like that. I remember just sort of moving around the house. I don't think we're typically a pretty jokey family. We like to joke with each other, and there's a lot of laughter typically in our house. I don't think there was for quite a bit after that.
Yeah. It took a while for the laughter to come back, that's for sure.
I like poking fun at Elise.
And
I
I
just
wasn't
could, I
laughing
didn't find
much,
joy in it.
you know.
Make it too
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so, and you girls and Joey, each of you did come see me when I was still in the hospital. I think once I was down on step down. And I was thankful for that because I couldn't, like, the nurses were really busy. It was the height of COVID. Nursing was short staffed. And when I got off the ICU wing and I was just down on the regular, like, post surgical floor, they'd bring my tray and, or, cafeteria staff would bring my tray and they'd walk out and that tray would often just sit there because it wasn't close enough. I was in so much pain. I also was so weak that I couldn't open orange juice tops. Do you remember that? Like I couldn't open
Yeah.
the top of a water bottle,
Well, you
nothing,
had the baby, you
nothing.
had the baby
And they
doll
had me
hands.
blowing in that plastic thing with the balls. And the doctors kept bothering me about, you got to blow in that thing every 15 minutes. And when I did, I couldn't move those balls at all. And I remember Dad taking it at one point though, he just goes, and the balls went right up and I thought, I'm dead. I'm just dead. He can do this. My kids can do it. I could not move the balls in the respiratory device. But yeah, so when I know Alexis, when you came to see me, Elise came to see me. Elise comes to see me and she's got, Elise is very like empathetic and sweet and she comes in and she helps me eat and you were holding my hand. Lexi comes in because she had business to do. She comes in with my laptop because, much as I think I've shared with my audience
Okay,
before,
lady, we
one of the
gotta.
first questions, she had to take care of business. But one of Dad's
Yeah,
first
we got
questions to me
shit
in
to
the
do.
ICU, other than how
Like
are
I
you?
know, I know you're dealing with shit, but we
Yeah,
gotta.
was but we have stuff to do. The house is falling apart. The finances are falling apart. Because I took care of all that and I knew what was what. And that's why my husband had to ask me when I was in ICU. One of the first, he said, I'm out of gas almost. What credit card should I put the gas on? Because our credit cards to disabled people, kids in college, and our disability income. So we have all these credit cards. You guys have heard the story before, and they were all jacked up almost to the max. My 16-year-old minivan had just gotten a muffler before I got all this, happen. So my husband was worried. He didn't want to go to the gas station, use the wrong credit card and have it rejected. So he was asking me which credit card he could put the gas on. So when Lexi comes to visit, here she comes because I keep an Excel budget sheet in that computer, and here she comes with a laptop. And she had to know, like I had to put her fingerprint on my phone. Remember that? So that you could get into
Yep.
my phone, so that you could get into my laptop, and so that she could start managing and paying the bills. And I think that's when you made the Excel sheet a whole lot better too, didn't you?
Well,
Caught in
I
there.
helped you. Yeah, yeah. I helped you start it right after I graduated high school, and we were trying to move down to North
Yes.
Carolinas when we started that. And
Mm-hmm.
listen, I don't know that much about like I know Excel, but like in terms of an accounting format, shit out of luck. Um, I'm lucky that
Yeah.
I have a fantastic little best friend who at the time was working for the
Cheyenne
Federal
did it.
Reserve. Cheyenne redid it.
Thank you,
Yes.
Cheyenne.
Yes.
Her
Yes, we got
job
to
was
shout out
Excel.
Cheyenne.
Her job literally was Excel in
Yep.
the accounting format. So I went,
Mhm.
hey, I don't know what to do
Hey,
here. And then she helped
bestie.
out. Yeah. Yeah. But,
And
and
Cheyenne
I,
fixed it. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, at the time, I was working at Greenbrier State Park. And so I
You had your
was,
summer job.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because Lexi had to make money as much as the kids did. so that when she went back to college, she had money to buy food from time. I mean, she was on a meal plan, but sometimes the kids can't make it to the cafeteria or the dining hall or whatnot. So she had some money and money to buy essentials and,
Yeah.
soap and shampoo and all that
Well,
sort of thing. So she was earning money.
I also had the
Yeah,
job
go
on
ahead,
campus
honey.
at the Power Center. And so that
Yes.
helped out during the school year. And I mean, granted, PA's minimum wage is less than Maryland's, so it was the dip between working in
Yes.
Maryland and then having to go back to Pittsburgh. And like at the time I was
Go back to
leaving,
7 an hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the time I was leaving, I think it was bumped up. Student workers were making 12 an hour.
Oh, of
So
course,
that,
when you were leaving. Yeah.
yeah.
Wait until
But
you
yeah.
left and went, okay, now we gotta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were assholes about
Yeah.
that. Um,
Yeah, they
but
were.
at least they
Telling
didn't
you.
keep it just
Anyway.
at the PA state minimum wage. So
Well, the thing that I observed when each one of you came to visit me, it was definitely a different dynamic. When I would be in the hospital before, and again, it was not life-threatening. So the kids would come see me. I mean, heck, Alexis had a soccer tournament at one time when I was in the hospital. And so her brother, of course, takes her to the soccer tournament and they got a trophy. And so he brings her to the hospital and she comes in. I think you were like in middle school. She comes in, she's
hmm
got her soccer trophy. This was totally different. I could sense like fear and concern in each and every one of you when you came, and it was just played out that you guys were you doing an amazing job and an amazing job helping me, but I could feel that what was going on underneath was like a lot of what the hell's going on? This is so
Apprehension.
weird.
hmm I think
You said
it
my
Very.
was,
hands look like baby doll hands, Lexi.
yeah. I think Elise visited you before I did, and she noted that
She
first.
did. Yes, yes. Yeah, because Elise was like marveling over my hands were puffed, puffed.
All
They had to take
swollen
my
and
rings off,
everything.
everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. At least he didn't have to cut them off.
Yeah. Yeah, they did
Never
save
say that
them.
again.
So, but it was it was weird.
Oh,
Don't
she
do
likes
that.
rings, so
Don't, I
Oh yeah.
don't.
Alexis loves, loves,
she
loves
really
rings.
loves her rings. Yeah,
No, I'm just.
that would be. She'd wake up and that'd be the first thing. Be like, "What do you mean?"
And then when I went to rehab, so the only way I could communicate with the kids then was I had to see them on FaceTime. Because I was in rehab and the rule there because of COVID was only one person could come the whole time. And so I really didn't want my husband signing up for it because I knew that 75-mile one-way travel trip going there was hard on him. And I could just see it. I mean, every day he was just so defeated and exhausted, and he would come in and plop on that chair, that foam chair, and all the foam would let out. It was just this big, you know.
The tired husband's chair in the
Yeah.
in the rehab.
And he was tired, but eventually I got to come home. I remember like I would cry. I started crying every day shortly after waking up in ICU, and I would cry after being on the phone with you guys, because they'd be at home trying to have some kind of normalcy, with their dad. They'd watch a movie, they'd be watching a movie or something or having dinner, and I was still in the hospital, still trying to figure out what I could eat and what I couldn't eat. And it was just hard for me to eat, period. I just had teeth extracted. I mean, I was a mess. And I really, really didn't eat much. I started to lose a lot of weight, like right there in the hospital. But I came home, and then I was there for 6 days, and then I was right back in the hospital again because I had a post-op abscess. But that time I was at least in a local hospital. And I think each of you got to come see me there, right? You got to come see me in Meredith.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, right? Yeah.
And when I did
Yeah.
come home from rehab, like they had balloons on my bed and all this, and Elise especially was like trying to be this little cheerleader, just, welcoming me home and everybody. And I was so done. I was happy to be home. And our dog, I think, was happy to see me, but I was so exhausted and in so much pain still. And then to wind up right back in the hospital less than a week later. And 4th of July was coming, like we had Father's Day. I got home for Father's Day, and then 4th of July was coming, and then I'm back in the hospital. So things really we didn't really get into the thick of it, I think, until I came home from that second hospital stay. And like the first thing I remember after that, and I could see how stressed like Elise was when I asked her to make me noodles that morning.
Those
Elise,
noodles, those
God,
damn
can you tell us
noodles.
about, you remember that?
I was gonna have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
had made
goodness.
noodles before, like a
Just
zillion times.
I know, and I get this like semi often. It's like I don't know. There's something with me where it's just like I get overwhelmed and like I just stop functioning and everything like that. Um, but it's usually with like intricate stuff, like not making noodles. Something I love mac and cheese. I make my mac and cheese all the time, all the time. I was sitting there just like, you're asking me to make these noodles for you, and I don't. I think it was after you had been home and we had been taking care of you and everything like that. And I think I was probably having a bad day, like completely unrelated to all this and everything like that. And it all just like, it was just everything. The snowball at the top of the hill, and it's about to, and she asks for noodles, and it gets tipped over the edge. And I'm just like, what do you, huh? What do you want? And you're trying to tell me, and I'm just like, again, just like brain just isn't working. I'm just like, okay, noodles. How how do I make those? What do you what do I need to do to make those? And you're just like, what do you mean? Boil water, put the noodles in there. We oh my, we just started going
Yeah.
at each other because you're just like, why don't you understand this? What is so hard? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's just, it seems like such a
I literally
stupid
could
thing,
not
but
get off the couch, like even to help you.
yeah.
I'm laying there and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And it was like morning. So I had woken up, like I hadn't eaten anything, and I was starting to get kind of like that sick feeling. And I'm going, come on, man, you gotta, oh my God.
It's just it's like one of the it's like a scene in a movie or a TV show you're watching where it's like you the viewer are watching this person who's like very obviously stressed out, going through a lot of stuff, and then like they reach a point where they just like break and just don't know how to function and everything, and just like have they have their tipping point, and you're sitting there watching it, and it makes sense to you as an outsider looking at this character and everything like that. But once you're in that situation, you're just like, you just have no idea. It's your mind is blank. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how to fix anything. You're just like, how do I make noodles? And you just don't know.
Yeah.
Because that really
Yeah.
was just like, it was just like a buildup from the day that I was told what was happening. You were in the hospital. Here's what's happening. Uh, Up until that point, everything had just been like building up, building up, building up. I was seeing you in the hospital, and again, yeah, like kind of doing my thing where it's like, oh, okay, it's okay, everything's normal, you're great, yeah, hey, we're gonna go home, and it's gonna be great and awesome. It's very much it's it just
Then
spent
all
that
hell
whole
breaks
time,
loose.
yep, just being stressed out and like kind of trying to just like pretend everything's okay and everything's great and we're great, uh, and
Yeah.
then yeah, at some point you just reach the point where you forget how to make noodles, and, and that's It's really,
And then
I think,
Alexis comes home because she was at work.
oh my
yeah,
God, yeah,
And
and it
Lexi
I
didn't
was,
comes
even
home and we
resolve
both go
until
at her like,
until Lexi came home.
no, no, what I came into was I was dealing with a car that morning, and
At Greenbrier,
I was
yeah.
just like, oh God. And then I get in,
What?
and then no, Elise is nowhere to be found. Mom is, mom is laying on the couch crying, and I'm like, what do you want? And then mom tells me Elise couldn't make a pot of noodles, and I go, are you kidding me? Um, and I wanted to lose it at that point because in my head I was just like, I was just in my head I was just like, I have to do everything. I have to do everything around here. Nothing can be solved. When I leave, everything stops working. I need to just stay here for forever and just deal with this. And I was just like, I can't do anything. I just have to do this and everything like that. And I will say to that
I
point,
think because Dad was trying to get some much needed rest, or he may have had to go to the grocery store or something. But he
Dad was
wasn't
doing
around.
something, yeah.
It
I
was
think
me
he
and
was
Elise.
out. Yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah,
the worst
and it
duo to deal with
was
when both of you are overstimulated. Um,
yes, yes. Oh my God,
He
yeah.
just, oh,
well, it's
But
also another thing to speak
no, go
to
ahead,
the
Lexi.
fact that I think this is really funny how this works because I'll be talking for like at least 10 seconds and then you'll go, "Oh, yeah, no, keep going." I'm like, I've been talking. Um, but uh but I
It's the
think
lag.
I
yeah.
understand that. But in regards to sort of Elise's buildup, I think we were all building up to a point because again, before you were home, yes, we were trying to make things a little bit normal, but part of our family like dynamic growing up, and I think this sort of leads into you and Dad being from PA and like the small town environment that you guys are in and the way that our families interacted with each other was like you don't talk to each other when things are going wrong. You just sort of try and keep moving and you don't acknowledge it and then it's not real. And so that's how all of us sort of have been throughout our lives from what I can remember is sort of like something bad happens, we're not going to acknowledge it with each other and talk about it. That'd be way too healthy. We have to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and surely it'll be over soon. And that's how all of us have been. And I do think to
Pay
an
no
extent
attention
that
to the
this
man behind the
happening,
curtain.
literally, I do think to an extent that you, this happening did make all of us a little bit more open to talking about how we feel and sort of being more open to sort of discuss the bad things. Because again, that didn't
Yeah.
really happen before this. It was just sort of
Mm-hmm.
like that happened between the two of you and the noodle thing. And it's just like, okay, well, maybe we have to talk about what we're feeling a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it's maybe
Yeah.
it's time so we're not breaking down over pasta anymore. Maybe we gotta.
Yeah. I mean, a great
Yeah.
example of us like not really talking about things that are a little bit awkward or like it's I love this story. I think it's so funny and it is no indictment of you, mother. But when I was a kid, Dad taught me how to swat flies and get insects, no problem. And I was like real small. This was before I started going to school. And
Oh God. Yeah.
I thought I saw a fly on the glass door to the deck. And I went, I'll get it. And I got a toilet paper and I went to go grab it. And it turned out to be a yellow jacket, I think. And it stung me
Or it
through
was a
the paper.
wasp.
It was a
It
wasp.
was a wasp.
And it stung me
You
through
know,
the
these
toilet
insects
paper
that
onto my
are just
thumb.
here to kill humans.
Yeah, yeah. And I started bawling. And again, I was like 4 or 5. You come into the room, you are on the phone with
You were
somebody.
before kindergarten. This was
Yeah,
before kindergarten. Yeah.
you were on the phone with somebody. without
because I
acknowledging or
was
saying a
busy
word.
writing.
I know you
And
were busy. So
yeah,
again, this is more funny. But without acknowledging or saying a word to me, you take me into the kitchen, you run it under cold water. I'm just sitting there crying with my thumb under cold water. And then you get the baking soda, you come over, you put the baking soda on my thumb, and then you leave.
I was always on the phone
I know,
writing.
you
Yes.
know. So it was just like always a thing of like us never acknowledging, then to sort of keep going. And then, yeah. So I think we've gotten better since, honestly, your whole extravaganza. So
Yeah.
That was a good side
Yeah.
of
This
it.
was really, really big and it had to be dealt with.
One
yeah.
of the
I
very
couldn't
few
power through this.
one of the very few good side effects of it all, yeah, like you said, is just like becoming more open with each other. I think it's, just the fact that it was such a, it's like, oh God, mom almost died, like kind of, yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
kind of thing. Uh, it's kind of like, well, oh, that's right, mortality is a thing. Maybe we should talk to each other more. It's it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very much like life has a really good way of backhanding you and being like, you don't have much time on this earth. Talk to each other. Love
Hmm.
each other.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it was, yeah. And it wasn't something that I could power through because before, when I would come home from the hospital, even
Hmm.
after like surgeries, I had my gallbladder out, I
Yeah.
had my foot operated on, I had surgeries before, and I would come home and just, I mean, the one surgery, and again, I think this speaks, and the audience should, we're from Southwest PA, coal miners' kids, everybody works themselves to death there. And my husband and I were always working, always work to keep a rented roof over our head. And,
Hmm.
that was always the goal. And, just got to feed the kids, got to keep the roof over our head. And when I would come back, I came back from one surgery where I had to go to this local magazine opening that night. Like they had it at this local restaurant. They were going to have this grand reveal for this new magazine that was local in Maryland. I had outpatient surgery that day and I went to the opening that night after surgery. So
Hmm.
um, that's how I powered through stuff. And even after I was declared disabled, I would power through. I would never miss the girls' games or cross country, Elise running cross, Joey running cross country, um, Alexis's multiple soccer and basketball games, both all seasons. We were going,
Hmm.
going, going. And the girls also did orchestra. And that's why it upset me so bad that I couldn't be at your senior project, Elise, because I've never missed. I never missed. I had to be there because I was working all the time. I at least wanted to revel in their successes and be there to applaud them and be there to support. So yeah, and unfortunately your dad didn't get to see a lot of that because he was a carpet cleaner who worked around the clock. So there was a lot of things dad missed. And so here, yeah, we're smacked in the face with this catastrophe. And I could not power through it. I
Hmm.
wasn't going to go to a magazine opening that night. I was this lifeless lump on the couch. And I didn't think I was ever going to get better. And so my time, remember I wouldn't let you guys turn on TV.
Yeah.
And I still have flashbacks whenever I hear that daggone morning game show stuff. Dad used to put on the morning game shows to try to distract me. And it was like the new Price is Right, Price is Right or something, and
uh,
those game shows. And I was like, oh God, I can't even hear those today. But I would lay there with the TV off and I would just stare off into space thinking that it was wrong that I survived because you guys were going to have to take care of me for the rest of my life. Nobody told me what sepsis recovery was going to be like. No doctors warned me when I left. It was like ring the bell at rehab and you're good to go. Bye. And
Hmm.
so when I couldn't get better, right away. I was so sorry for being such a burden on you guys. I mean, Elise had to make me noodles. Alexis had to come in and referee, and it was
I mean,
hard
it was
because I
very hard.
didn't want to exist like that.
It was very hard, but also there's to the effect of I think that time made me more patient because, well, that summer when we were all dealing sort of like you right out of it. And Dad and Elise definitely dealt with the day-to-day more because then I had to go back to school. So I wasn't there
Elise
24/7
got very
anymore.
creative about dealing with me too.
Well, it was just a thing of like we
I don't
wanted
even know
to
what you're
try
referring
and
to.
just
It's
like
that lag again.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I was just like, who's speaking? Um, but it was just like I would get calls every now and again. And I think because I mean, I also had that sort of instilled with me to keep going, keep pushing in terms of everything. And so that's sort of how I felt towards that summer of like, okay, you just have to keep doing this and everything like that. And this has to be done and it's going to be what it is type of thing. And I think I told you at one point, there was part of me that was just like, because I sort of felt very disconnected from you. I think when I got back, like during one of my breaks from college,
Yeah,
I was just like,
yeah,
I don't know how to react to you. I don't know how to interact with you right now, just because, like that day when it first happened, I was just like, you're gonna die. So I just didn't know how to move forward now that you hadn't. And I was
yeah.
trying to like
I get it.
process how to interact now because there was a new normal and everything like that. And
Mhm.
for a majority of my life, you were in a mobility scooter, and me and Dad had to help you up the stairs at the end of the night to get you to bed. Like you would like I never thought that you were going to be able to walk up and down the stairs on your own. I never thought that you were going to be able to drive again. Like when you started moving more and getting out, I was very happy for you, but there was also just like oh, like I was very happy, but again, I was just like, this is very different from my entire life and how I've interacted with you. Suddenly you were up and able to do things again that you didn't need my help for. You didn't, granted, I still hold the back of your shirt, but that's more or less to restrain you and not keep you going.
Yes.
So
You do that instead of hook her up to a monkey backpack leash.
she's getting that shit when we go to Disney. Like inevitably
She
when we
is.
take her and Dad to
She.
Disney, her ass is on that leash.
You sit there laughing. You sit there laughing
It's
like we're
happening.
joking.
It's happening.
I know.
You're
It'll
a
be a nice
wily
I
one.
long
You
know.
move
leash,
around.
but not long enough
But
for you to get off.
but the creative way that Elise would deal with it was she knew that, I was crying every day. And after you went back to school, oh my God, the day you went back to school, and Joey had to help because I wasn't able to go. Dad was there and everything. And I think Colleen went too.
Yeah.
And you guys went to move you back in. And it rained all day. And I was in the house, in that apartment, that tiny apartment with Elise, just crying and just crying and crying and crying. And Elise is very good at consoling and at least she's working at daycare. She was amazing. And she was very good. It was like
I
I
was
was a
great. Those kids
toddler.
loved me.
They did. And it was like I was a toddler. And she had to, console me and try to make me, it was always, I'm trying to make mama feel better. And then, and she planned like this, well, yeah, she planned this beautiful surprise birthday party for me. And we couldn't really have it too close. Like we didn't still want to get close with, my son and his fiance because of COVID. And, they would be out in public. We were still kind of sequestered, really, me and Elise. Elise and Joey were still looking for jobs. That was really tough because they had just gotten out of school, but it was COVID, and then their mother had just died. So we were all kind of all over the place, but she did plan this beautiful picnic in the park for me so we
With
could be
great
outdoors
assistance,
celebrating.
logistic
Yep,
assistance
you
from Joey
got,
and Lexi. Yes.
yep, and you and Joey got between them, like Colleen's mother made this beautiful birthday cake, and Joey brought the crabs, I think, and blue crabs. We're Marylanders, we eat blue crabs. And then, and Elise was just so pleased with herself. And I mean, I was still so weak. It was like so hard for me to even sit up on my scooter. But I was just kind of watching you kids have fun and realizing that I was still there to celebrate that birthday. And, it was a really amazing moment. And that was an amazing day. No matter how tired I was, the joy far surpassed it. And so, but Elise how she got creative with me too, was she would take me out on these little jaunts. We lived up near the
Oh,
Pennsylvania border.
that's right. That's
And
right. Yeah.
she would put me in her car. And again, I'm still very weak. I'm still swollen. My incisions were barely healing. And I was, just tottering along, using a walker, using a cane. She would get me in her car and we would drive up and go over the PA border, and she would say, "Look, Mom, we're traveling. We're in another state now." And she would make orders from the Target in Pennsylvania on purpose. Like she would get her shampoo or something, she'd place an order. So we would have to drive up and go to Pennsylvania to get your
I
stuff.
I just anything I needed, I'd just place it if it was at the if I could get it at that Target, then I was placing it at the Target. And yeah, I would just stick you in the
Yeah.
car, just be like, "Hey, we're gonna go have a nice little jaunt." It's we're gonna go out of our way to go like drive for a while. Like it was like a 40-minute drive or something. It's like we're just gonna get out for a little bit and have a nice little adventure. Go look at the scenery and whatnot as we drive up. And um I mean, yeah, it's I think we're more similar than we think, I think. And I was just like doing all the
Correct.
things that I do to like cheer myself up, like, and everything like that. So, you know, I'm really happy that it worked and that it did help.
Hmm.
It really helped me
Yeah.
hang in there because the audience, let me tell you, when I say I was stark raving crazy during that time, and it's a miracle I did not drive my entire family crazy. Um, I was. And that doesn't even really cover the depth of crazy that I went to. I mean, my husband tried to take me to my iron infusions. My iron was low, hair was falling out. I had to get stronger for the next surgery. I had to have the colostomy reversal in December. And I bolted and left, hopped on my scooter and left the first infusion appointment. And it was a dear friend of ours who actually called me and talked me down on my tree because he had just had the same kind of infusions, and got me to go back and have those infusions. But I was certifiably not in my right mind. And it was just so hard on everybody because again, the purpose of us telling you all this too is because doctors don't know much about post sepsis syndrome, period. They don't. And therefore they can't advise or guide us. I did start to go to mental health counseling with Dad, of course, and my Medicare wasn't accepted by any therapists within the 50-mile range of where we lived, because I heard because the reimbursements were low, whatever. So no therapist would take my Medicare. So my husband and I were lucky enough that we knew the deacon at our church who had been retired from 30 years working in family counseling and social work in Northern Virginia. So he saw us, and that was free. Plus, he was a good friend, and it was great to go to those weekly sessions with Larry and have him try to talk me down out of my tree. That was basically the whole thing, because my fear, once I realized what I'd survived and then what I had facing me, fear took over, and every reaction, every interaction I had with everybody, it was based on fear, especially whether it was my doctors or your dad or you girl or anything. And enough fear that I wanted to give Alexis her birthday gift. And I wrote about this in the Healthy Women essay, that I wanted to give her her birthday charm. She was turning 21. And I purposely scheduled my surgery for after her birthday. It was December 5th, and I scheduled it for after on December 8th. Because if something went wrong, I didn't want it to work to mar her birthday. And so she was home for Thanksgiving, and then she was going to celebrate her friend, our little accounting friend's birthday. And so she was leaving from her break early, and she was like, so I gave her this Pandora charm for her bracelet, and it was a 21 charm, and then her birthstone. And I gave it to her at Thanksgiving because I really didn't think I was going to see her again. Back then, I honestly did not think I was going to see her again. I was so scared of that surgery. Again, which we don't know a lot, like there's not a lot of information for patients to help them prepare for a colostomy reversal surgery. It's just something people don't want to talk about, I guess. I don't know, but I didn't have enough information, and that was terrifying me, and I didn't expect to survive the surgery, so I wanted to give you your gift before. And then Elise just was kind of maintaining at home and just trying to keep me from losing my mind. So caregivers go through a lot of shit because of us.
Happily.
Yeah, I think
Stressed out,
it's
but
true.
happily.
It
Otherwise, we
yes,
wouldn't do
because
it.
we'd much rather take care of you. We'd much rather take care of you in that kind of state than have nothing at all. Um, I think it was really good that Elise was there in the day to day when I went back to school. Because, like you said, Elise has always been the more compassionate and patient person. I notoriously, growing up, had a very short amount of patience. Um, I tried my
Growing
best, but
up,
it was just, I, it never,
talking
I'm
like you're
sorry?
still not. Huh?
Hey,
What?
I've gotten better with
I
it.
didn't say nothing.
I've gotten
There's a
better with it
ghost.
somewhat. Uh,
You have.
hmm
But I
uh,
think it was
yeah.
important because
Um,
everybody kind of fell into their role. I mean, you weren't having a good time at school either. It wasn't like you went to school and you forgot about it. I mean, you were struggling hard and massively. You had inorganic chemistry,
Oh.
which was killing you.
all right, all right. Yeah, yeah, I struggled a bit. Maybe don't say I struggled massively. Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Why is this? But yeah, I mean, it wasn't,
Where'd she go?
She left.
um,
She left the call. She was so insulted.
She left the room.
She she
I
dropped out.
offended
Yeah,
her. She left the room.
her yeah. She got mad.
I think she's
She
gonna come
said
back. Yeah,
she's gonna probably try to
we've
come
had
back,
we've
but
had these little in and outs here. Um,
lovely, lovely
but
internet.
Lexi, you got to
It's
try to come back, honey.
she's not on the call. She can't
Try
hear
to sign back in.
you. Uh, yeah, but no, all that to say, it's like essentially what you two are saying. It's just like it's 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 extremely difficult, and at the end of the day, people kind of just like fall back on what's normal, and you're gonna have missteps, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna have breakdowns over noodles, but like um at the end of the day, it's like if you love the person, like that's just what you're going to do. It's like, it doesn't really, uh, it kind of doesn't matter in the long run. Like, how stressed or how hard it is. It's at the end of the day, it's like, you're just going to do it because it's like, well, what's the alternative? Like, dump her in a care facility? Yeah, no.
Here she comes. She's coming back.
I'm back.
Hi,
There
honey.
she
They wanted to
is.
silence me about the slander
I
against
said
my
you got so
academic
pissed you
record.
left.
Yeah, maybe.
No, no. That was
No, internet went
but
out. I know. It's
but
just
I
funny.
think number one, some takeaways that we want people who are listening or watching this podcast to know is for when you have somebody in this kind of a state, massively injured and recovering from something like septic shock, the first thing, and the family members are not going to think of this because my family did not, because as you hear, it was a catastrophe, a DEFCON 1, and all for everybody and on all levels. Start a GoFundMe to help the family. Talk with them first, of course. And you may have some families like, first of all, think of my husband who was so shell-shocked at the time that the doctors at the emergency room thought he understood them. And he didn't. He doesn't. I asked him, I said, do you even remember? He said, I don't even remember them talking to me. He doesn't even remember that they were speaking to him. He was that much in shock. So if someone were to ask my husband, if somebody had thought about it and asked my husband, hey, should we start a GoFundMe for you guys? He probably initially would have said no, because no, Southwest PA, hard worker. No, we don't need this,
No, what he would have done? He would have came and asked me.
Yeah, he would have. He probably would have come and asked you. And initially, even me might have questioned. Yes, I had to tell him, what card to put the gas on. But I thought, okay, we'll just somehow get through it. What I didn't anticipate, I had excellent health insurance coverage, covered my hospital bills, helicopter, everything. Afterwards, though, we were living 75 miles away at that time. Due to finances, we were living in this tiny apartment, all four of us, and we had to travel 75 miles to Baltimore, 75 miles to DC, and I had a lot of doctor's appointments that I had to go through. And sometimes I had doctor's appointments that were back to back on one day, and then the next day, like 8 a.m. And I was still so weak, I could not tolerate travel that much. I enjoyed our trips, Elise, but I was still, our little trips, 20 minutes over the border to PA. But it was so hard to get me in the car and get me to travel. So we had to get hotels sometimes, and we had to eat on the road a lot. And I could only eat like soups back then. So we couldn't make soup, carry soup, and we had to stop and get food. And all those bills, then the cars started to have more problems. It was a 16-year-old minivan. That's all, beside Elisa's little Corolla. That was all we had. And so Alexis would go to college. She didn't even have a car at college because, Elise kept it there so she could job hunt. And then eventually in September, she and Joey found jobs in their majors, in their career fields. But it was so hard functioning on such limited income, and those cards, the debt grew and grew and grew and grew, and we're still trying to pay it off today, 4 years later. So start a GoFundMe, convince the family, even if they think they're not going to need it, when they're affected with a family member who survived septic shock, they're going to need it. Have them listen to this podcast, just this section alone, just have them hear me, because they're going to need it. So a GoFundMe, which say girls is like number one for someone to start for the family. Get it started.
And definitely don't expect
and spread
them
that thing
to be in the
everywhere.
right mindset to think to start one on their own. Because before this, I think
Right.
we had one GoFundMe before when we were trying to move down to North Carolina, and that was the only time that we had one, and that was very hard pressed uh in
And that was
terms of
basically just like
actually.
your basketball team was helping
Yeah,
us.
and they spread that around, and it was more or less them being like, let
Yeah,
us do this for you. We have never been a family. Mom was
right.
very hard to convince about allowing that to happen because Southwest PA coal miners kids,
Yeah.
but don't act like coal miners kids is was always the sort of theme as far from mom. So she was always just like, well, I can't act like one, so don't put it out there. Um, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the family's not going to be in the right mind to do that on their own.
No.
So, yeah, have a conversation with the family and get that GoFundMe started, because the after effects of doctor's visits, follow-up care, certain therapies or things that may not be covered by Medicare and things. And I know a lot in our community, in the sepsis survival community, have amputations. They have extraordinary expenses so that aren't covered by their insurances. So sepsis survivor, start a GoFundMe, you know. And
Hmm.
and that's number one. And the number two thing I think needs to be done is we definitely need more research into this syndrome, because I have never felt like I've never had panic attacks. Now I have them. I never had PTSD. Now I have it. And we need doctors to pay attention to this, and especially their patients' mental health status, because it isn't like you just discharge us from the hospital or the rehab and we go home and I'm going to go to the party for my editor and publisher for the new magazine. That's not going to happen. You know,
Hmm.
there's a long recovery.
Yeah. And more
Girls, how was
information needs
that
to
first
be,
Christmas? Oh, yeah,
sorry,
sorry, honey, go ahead.
more information needs to be given to families on how to help and support their loved one that's going through it, because I don't think any of us were
Yes.
really told exactly. I mean, granted, every situation is different, but I don't even think we had an inkling of how this was going to go when you got home. So,
Yeah. Families need to be addressed, and doctors don't assume anything. A patient's family member might be standing in front of you like my husband was that morning, and I know exactly what he was doing, and he was nodding and he was fumbling for his keys and he was nodding and he was going yes. He None of it was getting through, none of
hmm.
it. So it's like, really at in the hospital, these talks really, or this doctors maybe meeting with families while the family member's still in the hospital, I think is really imperative, and say and letting the family know that things are going to be different for a while, would you say?
Yeah. I yeah, I think just more communication needs to be uh done overall for family members or anyone who's caretaking for that person. Um, and it also needs to be laid out in a layman's terms, because I know I went into science, my brother went into science, and my mom was more so knowledgeable about scientific terms because she was a health writer. And even then, that's also more of a layman's term knowledge point. And my dad, no, you cannot talk science with him in a way that most researchers try and communicate with each other. It's not okay to try and expect the general population to understand what you're speaking when you speak in circles of people who understand the specifics of what you're talking about day in and day out. You need to understand who your audience is and be able to communicate that effectively, no matter who it is.
And I think that I think you guys were all intuitively good at going with the flow. I think you followed my cues a lot. I know Elise did, like, every day, like, and I know your main mission was, what am I going to do to help mom today? And so it was like the lady who was at registration that morning when dad brought me back into what I call the scene of the crime. I love this hospital. I love shock trauma, by the way. They saved my life in University of Maryland. And that's where I went to have the same colorectal surgeon put me back together again. But that morning, I freaked out. I was running in a circle around the automatic doors. It's 5 a.m. and the doors kept opening every time I did that lap where I got close. And my brain was telling me to dart and leave and run down the street of Baltimore and just leave and not register and not go have that surgery done. And then they got that registration lady, Tasha Bell. I don't know if you ever hear this. She, because she's no longer there, I went looking for her one time to thank her, but she came and sat me down and very calmly and very gently, and we had masks on because of COVID, of course, the restrictions. She was looking at my eyes. And I think that's one thing masks taught us during COVID. People's eyes reveal a lot. You don't need to see their mouths, but their eyes tell you a lot. And our eyes met, and she talked to me, and she, again, someone who talked me down out of my tree. And she got me talking about my kids. That's how she got me to go upstairs. She said, "You're going to survive this. You're going to do this. You're going to see your daughter graduate, my youngest. You're going to see Alexis graduate. You're going to see your kids, get further ahead in their careers. You're going to see this. You're going to see this. I assure you." And she came up to the pre-op with me and my husband, and got me, until the anesthesiologist came in. I think they called her in early. They just said, "We got a live one over here. Get in here." And she gave me a nice little cocktail, and then everything was better.
We got a runner.
We got a runner. We got a runner
Get
in
the
here.
restraints. Get the soft restraints.
Get the restraints. And yeah, and the surgery, of course, was successful. And I think, and again, we're recording this within a week before Christmas. And I think that, so I got to come home in 8 days. And let me tell you something, the staff at University of Maryland, Alexis was talking a little bit about researchers and doctors talking to patients. The University of Maryland, yeah, I am biased because they did save my life, but they're also a teaching hospital, and they're really good at teaching family members and patients about what's going on with their bodies. And they, things weren't happening the way I expected them to happen, like a few days in. And I did have like a lot of gut pain. So if you are going through a colostomy reversal, it can be painful afterwards as things start waking up again. And my colorectal surgeon was off that weekend. She was not on call, but one of her surgery team was. And this guy comes in and he's talking to me. He's doing the whole thing. He's very animated. I said, "Why do I have all this pain? Why isn't anything working? I think the surgery didn't work. I think it didn't work." And he says, "Intestines are a funny thing." He says, "They're inside your body. It's dark. They like it that way. It's completely dark. Your intestines are cool with that." He said, "And then we go in and put bright lights in there, and we start moving things around, and they freeze." And that's exactly how he described it. They freeze. And his eyes were really big. Because he said it takes them a while to wake up again. He said they freeze and they don't want to do anything. They're not moving. They're not doing anything. And I understood that very animated, quite entertaining explanation of my intestines working again. Helped me understand. And it was like within a day or two, he was absolutely right. And within a day or two, things did start working again. And then I was able to be discharged once I could show physical therapy, that I could actually walk down the hall. You've seen on my Instagram, I have that video Dad took. I'm walking down the hall with my IV. The kids are feeling great because, yay, mom did do this. And then I came home like December 16th, and it was the same day. I came home, and then our son went up to Pittsburgh and collected Alexis and brought her home. And the girls had waited until then to decorate our Christmas tree. And I have a little video of that. And it was, I might, Elise, if we can, we might insert that video maybe at the end, because we had
Yeah.
Christmas carols playing. And the girls were putting the ornaments on the tree, and I was laying on the couch resting, not feeling as bad as I did when I came back from septic shock. And I was just resting, and I was watching. And they were putting the ornaments on the tree, and then Alexis was asking her dad, like she always does, you know, who is this? They have this little game where we play
Oh my
classic
God.
Christmas carols, and she makes her dad guess who the artist is.
Back when I would do
And
that
I
over
always say it's
Pandora.
what, Bing Crosby or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you do say it's always Bing.
I always say it's Frank Sinatra or something.
One
That's
of you
always your
always
first
do
guess,
go either Frank,
whoever it
Bing, or
is.
Dean. You always do those three. If
Yes.
it's anyone else, Lord help you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
She
we always used to
she
do that.
figures if she gets the big three, then she'll get it.
And who's
And
your favorite artist? Nat King Cole
yeah.
for Christmas carols.
Mm-hmm.
He
does a great job.
He has that very smooth voice. Yeah. Nat King Cole sounds so Christmassy too. And I remember in that moment that I had not been that happy and probably smiling in the last 7-8 months. And it was watching you girls decorate. And then they even made pierogies. We're Polish. They made pierogies. And I was able to help because what did I do? I sealed them, I think. I sat
You
at the
always
table.
seal
I
them.
was able to
That's
sit
your
seal
job. That is your job.
That's my job.
Elise makes the
And the
dough. I
assembly
make the
line,
filling.
that is
You
your-
seal them. Dad does the sauteing.
Yes. And Elise makes a beautiful dough. It is
She does.
velvety smooth. Yeah.
I did.
Yep. And so it's all kind of, yeah, it's definitely a manufacturing style effort. Everybody has a job. And that was Christmas that year. I somehow made it, and I was finally starting to feel grateful that I was still here, because up until then I was very questionable because of what I felt like I was putting my family through. And I think that, just helping families, doctors understanding post sepsis syndrome would really help. Doctors having conversations with the family members before we come home would help. And ways for more counseling even to be available, and counseling options like for the patients or the families, or, whoever needs it, is absolutely imperative. And also that GoFundMe to help them raise money, because like our friends, I don't even think our friends, we had close friends in our neighborhood of like 20 years. And, we had of course moved out, we were in this tiny apartment, and then I don't even think they grasped what was going on because it was COVID. They couldn't really visit, and they dropped off some meals, but they didn't know what sepsis was either. And they also did not grasp, they did not have a full grasp and understanding of all the struggle and the things that were going on with all of us trying to get through that period. So, of course, we need more sepsis awareness and education so that people understand why a GoFundMe would be needed in a situation like that. I think would just really be helpful.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, now see where we are. We're in our own house. It's going to be a great Christmas leading up to it. We got all our decorating done early. We pretty much got, I think between the three of us, we have close to all of our shopping done. And we're going to go to a Christmas market, and we're going to have all that fun. I'm also there, Elise. I am also there. I understand. But
I
laugh
laugh every day with these two, you guys. I do.
Especially when I'm punching
They make me
Elise.
laugh so much. And my son, we can't forget Joey. We cannot forget Joey. When they all
Well,
No, we
three
can.
get
It's okay.
together and
well,
his wife now, I mean, it's hysterical. It's crazy. It is
yeah.
crazy, but we're going to go to Baltimore and I'm going to get to walk around and see this fabulous Christmas market I've never seen before. And you guys are going to go ice skating perhaps, and we're going to see
Yeah.
those Christmas houses that I've been waiting 5, 6 years now or so to
It's been a
see,
while.
the Christmas houses. Yeah, in Baltimore, and I really, really want to see that. But
Well, we're gonna need to get a
if
moving on
anything,
soon.
to any of you who are, still in the trenches, having survived sepsis, and you happen upon this podcast, please know that it does get better. It seems like hell on earth for all of you and your family and everybody included in the beginning, but you will get through it because it does get better.
Mhm.
Would you
It's
say,
a
Chris?
very, yeah, it's a very worst thing to happen to you in your life. And then you're suddenly tasked with things you've never been tasked with before, and it's very difficult to get situated and understand. But also know that there's nothing you'd rather be doing than spending time with someone who almost wasn't there.
Hey,
Elise,
same. So
speak.
these two little hooligans got
No.
me through.
No, no, no. Um. Oh, you just choked me up a little bit there, but so I like
I'm
really so I
kind
wasn't
and
quick.
caring. I don't know what to tell you.
Uh I don't know what to tell you. I'm just such a great person. Oh my god. Um but
But
yeah, no, I
you
mean
all
it's
got me
essentially
through.
yeah, it's essentially the same
You and
thing.
Dad,
It's yeah.
Joey,
Let
Colleen,
Elise
you
talk.
girls, everybody,
Let
it's a
Elise
heavy
talk.
lift. Huh?
Let Elise
I'm
talk.
sorry, you're lagging again. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You girls get the parting word here. You get the parting message.
All I was gonna say was to use like my like watching a movie analogy again. It's just like you're sitting there watching these characters go through hell on earth and everything like that, but you as the viewer know that it's gonna be fine. Uh, know that it's gonna be resolved at some point. So when you're in it and you don't have that bird's eye view to know that, you just kind of have to manually remind yourself of that throughout the process. Like, this is one day, we're gonna look back at this, and it's just, you know, as humans do, it's like you're gonna pick out the fun stories, the stories that are like funny, uh, once you're out of it. Uh, and it's just, it's gonna be a part of your past at some point. Um, and you're just not going to be in it forever. It's nothing can last forever. Um, everything has to end sometime, and that very much includes bad times. So
Very profound, Elise. Thank you. Lexi?
Yeah, pretty much. Elise can have her moments, I guess. But yeah. uh,
that's
Oh,
crazy.
you're
That's
you're
crazy.
so bad. You're so
That's insane.
bad to her.
911, yes,
love
hello.
you.
Come pick her up.
But
I don't like her anymore.
yeah, it's just sort of what we've been saying. It's like I, throughout it all, it is always worth it to spend time with one another, no matter how hard it might be at that point, to visualize yourself with other people, and want to sort of branch out and keep people around you. It's a difficult time to do that when you're tasked with so many things and you start to make it feel like this is a job, but you're in reality taking care of somebody who you deeply, deeply care for. It's always important to just remember that yeah, like Elise said, things are going to get better. Things are going to improve. I've been saying that to mom for the past like 2 years in regards with the credit cards and just having everything slow down. It's like, I'm not worried about it. Things are going to get better because they do. They generally do. And as we've all gotten older and everything like that, like us kids, um, we love being around each other. We love spending time with each other and everything like that. And nothing's ever been easier.
We do. A lot of people say that too. They even see it. They're the guy who helped us with our refinance. He said, "You guys are special." He said, He said, "This is what I'm here for, right here." Because of course we were bantering at the table like we always do. Um, but yeah, we do enjoy spending time together with each other, like genuinely, and wholly enjoy being together and doing fun things.
hmm So we got to get to Baltimore because we're
You
already
girls are
30 minutes
amazing,
past when I
Joey.
said that we should leave.
We
We
gotta
do.
go.
We do. We do. I want to thank all of our listeners and viewers today. Thank you so much for giving us your time and hearing us. This is crazy little trio of women here. But yeah, the kids are amazing. These girls are amazing. And, as a mom, I'm proud to be your mom. Really. Wasp stings and all.
Oh, oh, we're going back.
Love you,
Okay.
girls. And love
Love
you,
you,
viewers,
Mama.
too. And thank you for being here.
Babu.
Thank you for listening. Love you, girls. Bye. Hey everyone. So I just wanted to come on here at the very end and add that something the girls and I, when we were talking at the end about Christmas and everything, it was shortly after Christmas that I discovered Sepsis Alliance. And now, 3 years later, 4 years later, rather, I'm an advisory board member. And Sepsis Alliance is a nonprofit national organization. They provide education to medical professionals. They provide support to those of us who survived sepsis and people who've lost someone to sepsis, and also for caretakers. And so they have these online support groups. And Sepsis Alliance's Connect program, it's called Sepsis Alliance Connect. You can go online to www.sepsis.org to sign up and register for the Connect program. And it really helped. It helped me mentally so much. I joined in, their pilot program was like March, I think, of 2022. And I joined in, and it was very, very helpful to me because I was finally able to see other survivors and people like me in that Zoom meeting room. And that really helped my mind. It helped settle my mind, calm me down, and it helped me, stop losing my mind every single day. So I highly recommend signing up on Sepsis Alliance Connect if you are a survivor or if you've tragically lost a family member or a friend to sepsis. And if you are still caretaking for someone who's been affected by sepsis, check out the Connect program, check out the times and the meetings. They offer a whole bunch of peer support groups like Monday through Friday. And, you can have your pick Monday or mornings, afternoons, evenings rather. But anyway, I highly recommend it. It's very, very helpful. Sepsis Alliance does a whole lot of other things. We do awareness in DC, down on Capitol Hill. It's just a great nonprofit national organization dedicated to all things sepsis. And I just wanted to come on here at the end and shout them out. Happy holidays, Sepsis Alliance, and happy holidays to all of you. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll see you in the new year.